Hello and welcome back to a murder, where John's gonna have a nice little look around our crime scene, and we're gonna try and figure out who sacrificed our sexy man Fabio on a table. Should be interesting. So, first things first, what do we remember from last time? We knew someone was not holding the door shut, but there was a key in the door. We knew that much. Yeah. And I doubt it was Fabio's, because Fabio's key was left untouched. That's something we know for sure. Over here, someone stabbed him in the heart. That doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Someone stabbed him in the heart. Yeah. That's fair. Over here, someone clubbed him over the head. For sure. No, you didn't stab him in the heart here. Yeah, you clubbed him over the head. And then dragged him over there. And then killed him. That makes sense. What have we got in here? In here we've got an outfit. No. You washed your hands, got rid of the blood. Yes. And stashed the outfit. It's not Fabio. It's someone else. I think that's got to be it. Right? Bingo.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood.
Fair.
The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Makes sense.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
It's just occurred to me, Vogel's possibly the only person that's realised that what we do in a crime scene is we lie down. Okay.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Here we go.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
So they're somewhere in the party, and now we need to use our mind palace to diagnose them. Right. The murderer cleaned themselves. No. There we go. Just altar room was locked and unlocked. I don't think any of these are... Oh, no, they are related. That one's related. Okay, the murderer had a key to the altar room. That's important. Yeah, we knew that already, but apparently my brain just ignored it. Okay, so the murderer had a key. He was assaulted in the smoking lounge. So this is someone before this area. So... Fabio was killed in a ritual murder, or the ritual was cover. We don't yet know. I can't pick. Right now, he's killed in ritual murder. That's fair. So, who would have motive to kill him? And the murderer has a key. That's everything we know. So, we need to know who has keys to the altar room. You. Do you know who had keys to the altar room?
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him.
Mask with
But
golden
please
stars.
Be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Okay, discretion is key. We are a fox among sheep. There's lots of masks with gold stars. Great, not that helpful, is it? No. So, if the murderer had a key, let's have a look at some other things we know. Mask with golden stars. So we're looking for someone nervous with a gold mask and stars. Okay. You don't seem nervous. The man in the chair could be considered nervous. Are you nervous? Evades taxes, sympathetic. No. What about you? Are you nervous? No, you're a lunatic. You? No, you're a flat earther. Okay, not going well. You. You're drinking. Possibly nervous, tense and brittle. Hello.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
Sorry, I
What?
sneezed.
Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Okay, so, who had access to the altar?
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Matista
Santos.
and Santos.
Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
Okay, where can I find these people?
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Oh god, what now?
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Ah, for fuck's sakes. I quite like how they're shooting confetti, not actual bullets. This game has some really good cutscenes.
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologise for the inconvenience, Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in this letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother.
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only. to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
Okay.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here.
Okay.
If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
So, in exchange for knowledge about our
Glad
mother,
we managed to get the scoop
we need to
before the
solve it. Okay. Let's see what we've got then. Typical. So, Santos Pichetti is a witness of suspicious murder, blah blah blah. Loud noises from the closed altar room. I immediately thought of the sacrifice of a living being overviewed by another more than Kurt Manchius. There was blood on the walls, strange symbols, and a dagger in the heart. Right, so you're the person that reported it to the police. Interesting. So, Pinchetti reported it to the police. The provider of this ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case 6260. That's us. That's very useful. What is this? Satanic ritual, blah, blah, blah. Vogel, which he claims to have been written by the victim. And a letter of insulting nature. Holmes carried a murder weapon, a dagger with the victim's blood, and all other evidence. Yeah, that sounds about right. Manchios, blah, blah, blah. Matista, Fabio's partner. Owned a book. Let's take the keys as well. That's important.
Back on track to solve the case.
Okay. Let's change my outfit. I can't change my outfit. I'm dressed like an asshole then, permanently.
Look, I found Werner.
Where? He's not in here. Oh! Right, I see. Hello. We're being a proper policeman. I see. We have to question everybody. This shall be fun. Hey up, Vogel.
Werner, are you alright?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew,
Is your
but they
brother
refused
Otto
to let you go.
Richter?
They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
I wouldn't lie.
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. I think perhaps Werner Vogel is Otto Richter's brother. Right, can we give you anything that's going to be useful? What about, yes, the letter you had? You had an angry letter, right?
I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
I
I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about
Let's
this.
just try and give you everything
I can't
until we
follow you
find
here.
out. What am I missing? Witness?
I have
Ah, here we
learned
go.
who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
Right, okay, well that's important. He doesn't know
What a
anything.
bunch of losers.
Alright, let's talk with you then.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Right, well you were, interesting, bit deep.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
So what's with the bruise on your neck? It's the first thing I've got to ask. You were choked. You also have a satanic symbol on your tits. A cult tattoo that you inked yourself. Self-harm. Snap. What's this? Nervous, you bit your nails. Anything down here? Shackle on your leg. Old shackle scar. So you were a slave, but you've been freed to be prosy. Bruised neck. You have the red lipstick, and you have the same burn mark. Punishes herself for the past. She's not dissociated, I don't think. I think she punishes herself. The self-harming's that. Yeah, Matista, the performer and Fabio's partner, had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence their similar branding. Old scars are a result of her slavery. She's haunted by it, so she has her own tattoos and self-harm. Makes sense.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past. To cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
Interesting. Bruises. Let's talk about them.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
God, this game's very dark.
I know I can handle the news.
Okay, we're learning. You.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers. The new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding
You're a bit
Fabio's
creepy.
murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Bribery.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy, after all.
I need to examine you first.
Okay. Let's watch him. So, he likes young men. Red shoes. Lavishly expensive. Nice shoes. What's wrong with your hands? Wash them in a hurry. He wouldn't have done it mid-party, but he has washed himself. He's wearing a fresh robe. Hair dye. Okay. So he dyes his hair to stay youthful and wears makeup. Yeah, he's not really a stickler for cleanliness. He hides his age.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Right,
Such
yeah.
a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Right, so first thing I'd like to know then, Fabio.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Right, okay. Tell me more about the event.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Jesus Christ, man. Keep it in your pants.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
Right, so he's
Suppose
a
I can't
dickhead.
argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
Okay. And who else do you invite?
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice.
Right, so
There's
nutters.
nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see.
So, rich people. Good. Right, first thing I need to know is, did you wash your hands? Smoking lounge, victim's description. One of these is about the washing of hands. You gave him cufflinks.
You
Yeah, what's
bought
that
an
about?
expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Right. Okay, we're learning. That's a Vogel. Victim's descriptions. No. Smoking lounge. No. Fabio's murder.
I've no idea about that.
That's useless. I want to ask you about washing your hands.
That's not something I know much about.
Okay, I think that's about all I'm going to get from you right now, without giving you every piece of
I
evidence.
appreciate your cooperation, Mr. Manchios. Wait just a moment, I have something to check.
Let's try our Mind Palace, see what it gives us. Right, the murderer cleaned themselves, and Kurt Manchios has a washing routine. Oh no, he's scrumptiously clean. Scrumptiously? Unique word. So, he's washed himself after the murder, that's good. But he also has a washing routine, so he's cleaned himself after the murder, but also to set up for debauchery. It's interesting. The soap under the fingernails is interesting, though. Why would he not do that? Okay, so, Matista had fresh bruises. Yeah, she says it was from the guests, but Fabio could have equally have gone a bit odd. And then she killed him in self-defense and dressed it up as that. It's an option. Pinchetti's a major domo. I've not met him. Matista has fresh bruises. Kurt Manchios had feelings for Fabio's. And Matista have fresh bruises? No. I thought that could be work. No, because Vogel's letter, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, and that doesn't work. Yeah, none of those work with this statement. Matista has fresh bruises. Ah, Vogel's letter. How do I... Oh, there's not really a good option for Vogel's letter. I've got that there, but without any deduction. Okay, let's think this through then. Evidence ticket. Right. Let's get some evidence. That's probably going to help us. 5 and 6. Vogel's there. So evidence will be over here, right?
This area is restricted.
Alright, chill. This area is restricted. Fuck me! Are they all still here? Clearly.
Did you hear Basilio?
I'll eavesdrop that in a minute. I don't think that's related. Hey!
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
Here you go. 6 to 60.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Alright, let's see what we got. So, quite a lot. Bunch of keys.
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
Who was that taken from? Kurt Manchius. Fair enough. Ring.
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone.
So Kurt Manchius had every key to the
A heavily
mansion.
perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
So yeah, this is all Kurt Manchios stuff. That's fair. Over here we've got Vogel's nonsense. We've got the letter.
Werner's personal sketchbook.
Yeah, let's look at the letter, shall we? Is your mind unsound? You can't control your bitterness, not around me. For me, it's too great a risk to ignore. I can't speak, play with anyone I choose. I'm not another Matista. You pay me, but you haven't bought me. Of course, I keep all your generous notes. Right, so Fabio was messing around with him,
Not the time
but
for privacy.
Vogel was a dick, so he's always like that. And over here we've got
An emergency kit for boredom.
some sort of drug. That won't have helped. And then over here we have Matista's stuff. So she had a key to the room.
Her key to the altar room.
So these two have keys to the altar room. I'm holding Vogel's key to the altar room, so we all have keys.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
That's weird. And this is the book.
That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Manchio's library.
So she's holding an occult book. Right, she has a book that says draw symbols of Mars and Venus. Pierce his heart with the golden dagger, read your blood. Representing your love. While waiting for resurrection, result
The
the
book
charm.
describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Thank you, officer.
So, she was possibly trying to resurrect him by the sounds of things. The angry letter and Vogel need to be talked about. We need to talk to these people again.
Did you hear that?
Yeah! Hey, 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 hey! Right. You! Let's have a chat, shall we?
I've no idea about that.
This book is yours.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
Yeah, okay, so he uses... Okay, I'm fingering Matista right now because I think she is mentally unstable enough to believe that ritual would have brought him back to life.
You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about.
I don't think there's anything else I can give you. No. Okay. Alright. Let me bugger off for a minute. Let me have a chat with her. You. Right. First thing I'm going to ask you about, before I ask you about the book, is your weird charm. Because you have, like, hair, nails, and clippings. We going to talk about that? Here we go.
I've nothing to say.
You got nothing to say. Okay, fine.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood, and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
Okay. So that's an interesting point. So, Kurt didn't permit Matista to take it. She uses occultism. Interesting. Okay, so...
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
What the fuck?
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. She liked him. She liked him indeed. That is a real interesting thing. Okay, let me ask Vogel about his letter. That is important. You.
So, the police found a letter
What's
from
this?
Fabio in your pocket.
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities.
Okay, so not helpful, Vogel. Let's see what our Mind Palace has to say then. So, Matista used a ritual, possibly. Vogel's helped because of the letter, and there's the angry letter from Fabio. Perhaps the angry letter... Well, she says it prevents her from that. Maybe the angry letter is for her. Santos Pinchette is the problem right now, because he had a key. He's a suspect who should be. He had a key which he did not mention. So, where is he? Kurt had feelings for Fabio. We've got a love triangle, easily. Possibly a love four-way, if Vogel's in on it. What have we got in our casebook then? He left out his key. So, who do I talk to about getting him arrested? Constable Oswald. Right, that's who I need to talk to. Right, so where's Constable Oswald? He was in my room, I believe? Wait, how did I do that? I just pressed a button. Hello?
This area is restricted.
Where the fuck is an inspector, right? No. In the archives? Ah, yeah, you. Hey, Santos should be here.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
Thank you.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's
7,
the key to
okay.
interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Well, if he's an old man, as you say, probably didn't want to fall over and die. John. Number 7. Wrong one. Hello.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know.
What's that red
I'm only
bit
a
on your
witness.
neck?
Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Right, what's up with his neck? There's something on his neck. Psoriasis. Okay, that's fair. We all sometimes have that. He should try tar or steroid-based cream. Coloured more than once. Dyed textile. Interesting. So he's got a very repaired suit. Okay. Your shoe has blood on it. Dyed his suit? He's a terrible miser? No, I think he's got financial difficulties.
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide, under heavy makeup, a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Perhaps from a guest. Fuck. Okay.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always, Fabio-centric?
Okay.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Right, okay. So they were treated unfairly. I'm guessing these are your personal effects. Your keys.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
And what is this letter? Santos, my hopeful slug. You begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Major Domo of the house receives a jar of mustache wax, a salt lamp. What? The fuck? Right, I need to know about this will.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Okay.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers.
Right.
While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties. He paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Okay, so you have motive.
Please let me out. Please let me out. Please let me out.
Please let me out. No. Right. We've learnt some stuff. He's resentful and has motive. There's so many things! Right. Pinchet's major domo, but he also has blood on his shoe. He informed the police. Right. Here we go. That's the one I wanted. Santos Pinchet's efforts in vain. Worked for Kurt in despite of obtaining a heritage, but it's not been paid off. Okay, cool. So he's not got his heritage. Manchios gave Fabio gifts and had feelings. They're related. Okay, that's that done. I doubt the expensive gifts are to do with an angry letter to Fabio, but maybe they are. According to Santos Pinchetti, and by the content of the letter, it may have been addressed to Kurt. Where he's giving him exorbitant gifts in the hope of seducing him. Okay. The blood on the shoe and informing the police, it could have been when he's discovered the crime scene. That's fair. I agree with that. The murderer cleaned themselves, and there's blood on his shoe, which contradicts. He either missed it or he stepped in it. I'm going to say he accidentally stepped in it, because even though he's got an obvious motive, it seems a little too obvious. Okay. That's done. Here we go. Fabio Bruce Matista. That's an option. I think that's liable. And these are the only two that are left. Okay, that's good. Got a bunch more deductions even closer. This is a tight one. Is your mind unsound? You can't control your bitterness, not around me. For me, it's too great a risk to ignore that kind of behavior. You pay me, but you haven't bought me. I'll keep all your donations. We need to ask Manchus about this. You.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
A little's a stupid excuse. Okay. Why are you neglecting your
I've no
only
idea
relative?
about that.
What's with that? Yeah.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Right, so you're a bit of a dickhead. But you said he was your only heir, which brings to mind
I've
an
no idea
interesting
about
thing.
You'd better ask someone else.
Do you see Fabio as one of your heirs? Because that would give him a lot of jealous aim.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
Oh,
A
wow.
good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
That's an interesting one.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
You. Let's talk with you. You're odd. You're really odd. I can't quite place you. Is this for you?
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Okay. That's interesting. I think she's telling the truth
I
there.
know I can handle the news.
So, Vogel. Let's have a chat, yeah? What do you know about this letter?
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touché.
Okay.
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
Okay. Let's go into the Mine Palace. Right. Either Vogel or Manchios is lying. And Vogel's held because of the letter. I think Manchios planted the letter. But I don't think he washed himself out of the murder. Interesting. Fabio was burning bridges, and Kurt Manchios had feelings for Fabio as well. That's a truth. All clues are found, so we're done. We need to figure out more about this letter. Who should I talk to about it? The only piece of evidence left is this letter.
Please let me out.
Shut up. Shut up back there.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
That's everyone. Okay, these two contradict. If she was bruised by that, then this means that it was a crime of passion. Kurt manages to kill Fabio in cold blood. He staged the crime, blamed Matista, planted the letter. Heartbroken and panicked, did not mean to kill Fabio. Would make sense, but I don't think Kurt Manchios is the murderer. So let's look at the other options here. Fabio bruised Matista, and it was a ritual murder. This is the other option. Matista is the product of a tormented life. She wanted her love, Fabio, to stay with her. Matista uses occultism to avenge. So these are the two I have choices between. But then there's the other option. Worked for his uncle. He killed Fabio to frame his uncle. See, I don't think Pinchetti's got much to do with it. I think he saw an opportunity to frame his uncle, or just piss off his uncle, yeah? Or ruin his reputation, and took it. Hence why he reported the crime. That would make sense. I think he accidentally slept in the blood while discovering it. Which would make sense. But then again, Kurt Manchios could have been the murderer. Fabio did break his heart, which is a guarantee. Matista was bruised by guests, which makes sense. She might have been using rituals on him, and she did have a ritual book. You. Let's accuse you.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
See?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
It would make sense. The fingernails, the staged ritual, because you know that book off by heart, so even if you don't have the book, makes sense, and the love wasn't mutual.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes, or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
That doesn't make sense.
The staged murder was certainly not planned.
You know, with his dyed hair and the makeup and the fact that he's gone into all this effort to make himself younger, someone like that is liable to finish washing their hands properly. The love wasn't mutual.
You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
I don't believe he's got a sensitive nature.
You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you, since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s.
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
I think it was a crime of passion based on the braining with the bottle.
Fabio played with your feelings. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way that you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You were passionate, and so you struck him. Once you understood your mistake, it was too late. You were afraid, so you staged the ritual. With such a story, you might be sentenced to a few years. It might clean your conscience, and soon the case will be forgotten.
No.
This is my decision. I'll talk to Constable Oswald to see what I can do.
See, this is the thing. The annoying grey areas of this game is, I don't know if I'm right, but I think it's you.
I wish everything were different.
She's too self-destructive almost to murder. Crime of passion wouldn't have made sense for her right this second. He's took the opportunity to turn in a murder, discovered the crime scene, that's fair, and Vogel was just pissed. So that is my case decision. That is my case decision.
There's no fool like an old fool. Kurt Manchios did it. A young boy played with the heart of an old man. The latter couldn't handle it. The evidence I obtained clearly shows that the quarrel was not intended to end badly. It was an accident.
Showing pity towards your own kind, Holmes. Whatever.
All I'm saying is that prison won't take much away from an old and crushed man.
Fine. A big name like that will still give me a promotion.
Right.
As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
I didn't think it was going to be Vogel after all. But I think that's the truth of the case. Now, it's Violet Holmes lying in the garden, soaked, with an incision down her throat. Her face was swollen and covered in red blotches. So, like, she had an allergic reaction and someone tried to cut her throat open to let her breathe. She died? Okay. Interesting.
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
Hi, John. Right. How interesting. Should we go and tell Vogel that he's free to go? I think that might be a good idea. Oh, he's already gone.
I'll remember this horror forever.
Okay, bye. Okay. Case turned in. It's time to go back to our manor, I think. Oh, here's
you
Vogel.
did it, Sherlock. The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo.
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
It is what it is.
Whatever the truth, it had to be revealed. The victim deserved it.
Well, you seem confident in the value of your actions. I guess since I'm free, you were heard after all. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
Oh, yes. It's a struggle, but yes, we can make our own decisions. That's what I fight for.
And what an endless fight it is. Will you ever give yourself a break, Sherlock? You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
Did you hear Basilio
Interesting.
Costello was in jail? A dead body was found in his showroom.
That's another case. Let's just quickly do this before I end. Claims innocence. Under my mattress? No. Press scandal? No. Capello Company. Wife is devastated. Dead in the safe. Okay, well, someone died in a safe. That might be an interesting case for me to check out.
Did you hear Basilio?
Hold on. Let's do this properly. Vendetta? No. Press scandal? No. Claims innocence? Yes. Under my mattress? No. Wife is devastated? No. Capello Company? Dead in the safe. There we go. Basilio Capello, the owner of a famous home security company, has been arrested. A man has been found dead inside a safe in his store.
In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
How interesting. Perhaps it will be worth checking out. Well, I think this is a perfect time to end this episode. Yeah, I'm enjoying this game. I am. It's odd, very odd, but I am enjoying it. And I'm not going to lie, as good as all these things are... Did we poison our mother? Someone tried to save her. She didn't drown. Anyway, next time I'm going to have a go at some, maybe the side quest. There's one here that's really interesting, the Iron Coffin. Seems interesting. Very interesting. Alright, well, maybe I'll do that little safe thing next time, and then we'll move on, but we'll see what we can do. For now, thank you very much for watching. Much love from me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.